Hey guys, I'm James and welcome back to Mostly Helpful. In today's video I want to talk to you about these fixing cloudy headlights. This car's 15 years old and like a lot of cars this age it's got this problem. There's a very cheap fix and I want to show you how I'm going to do it. So looking at this headlight, what you can see is this cloudy area here. It's much easier to see if we firstly lift the bonnet. Let's get that up. And then you can really see this edge across the top where it's been less sun damaged, and then it goes a bit foggy. I did the other side yesterday and let me show you what that would look like now, and it's much crisper and clearer. So what do we need to do this job? Now there's a lot of these videos out on YouTube already, so I won't take too long to explain what's happening, but in short what we need to do is remove the UV protective coating that was originally applied at the factory and has now gone cloudy. It's a really simple way to do that. If you've got any kind of detailing products at home, you've almost certainly got half of what you need already. First thing to do is to mask up your headlights. I've got this blue masking tape, any masking tape will do. Next thing to do is, and this is the cheap bit, is just to buy 3 different grades of sandpaper, or wet and dry as we've got here. 1000, 2000 and 3000 grit. 1000 to take the coating off, 2000 to refine, 3000 to refine some more, and then on to the next step, which is to use a polisher. I've got a rotary polisher with a really old pad that's going in the bin straight after this job. If you haven't got a polisher of any kind, a DA, a rotary, whatever, use a cordless electric drill with an adapter. Adapters available online very cheaply and very easy to fit. And then in order to use that, I use this, a Dodo Juice Lime Prime. Again, this is near the end, this is going in a bit afterwards. But any kind of paint restorer, so Auto Glim Paint Renovator, Auto Finesse, Rejuvenate, anything like that will do absolutely the thing you need on these headlights. During that process you'll need a microfiber towel, and then an optional step at the end is to use a sealant on it to protect it for the next couple of years or so. Also, most importantly, a cup of tea to keep you refreshed during the process. Let's get on. So our first step then is to tape up the headlight. Now the reason for doing this is because you're using wet and dry or sandpaper and you don't want to damage your paint. So all it's doing is just protecting the paint. With that now done, our next step is to get our wet and dry paper ready. So with the wet and dry all sized up properly, I've got my 1000 here ready to go in a nice small piece. I've just got myself a jug of water just to keep the wet and dry lubricated as we go to work. Let's do that now. So as you can see, that makes quite a bit of mess, and that's just that coating coming off. All I'm going to do is take this old tea towel, just wipe it off. As you can see, it looks really bad. Don't panic though, this will all come good, I absolutely promise you. I'm going to go over that one more time with the 1000 and then we'll move up to the tighter grits. So as you can see, it's now looking a lot worse, and that needs to happen before it gets better. What's most important is you get a nice even opacity when you're doing this to make sure we've removed all of that UV cover or UV protective stuff. Anyway, moving now on to the 2000 grit sandpaper and a little wet and dry, and let's go through that and you'll start to see it getting a little clearer. So there we go guys, as you can see this is now coming up to be a little bit clearer and cleaner, and as we go through the different grades of sandpaper or wet and dry, that's exactly what should be happening. So 1000 done, 2000 done, let's move to 3000. There we go. Again, looking much nicer now. Still a little bit cloudy, but the polisher will bring that out. So this is the final step for the getting this all looking nice and shiny. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to use my rotary polisher. This is an old pad that I just had lying around that needs to go in the bin, but I thought I'd demonstrate it today. It really doesn't need to be anything sophisticated, and this paint renovator product. I haven't used teacut, but I imagine teacut would work just as well as what I'm about to use here. In fact, anything with a little bit of cut in it. So don't use a wax, but do use a polish, and just need a little bit of bite in the product, and it will take this hazing off. So let me show you how it works. So just dab it on. This is a polishing pad, so it's quite soft to get around all the curves and not to heat it up too much. And then here we go. And there, after our first pass, it's looking really nice. I'm going to do that one more time, and then hopefully that will be all of our headlight clean and crisp and clear. And look at that, doesn't that look great? Really happy with that. That's really not taken very long at all. What I'm now going to do, just take off all this masking tape, clean up the car a little bit, just apply that sealant as that optional last stage. Just a quick detailing product that I have. Anything will do. Now, I mentioned this step is optional, and the reason I say that is because if left like this unattended, that will go cloudy again in maybe a year's time. Depends if your car lives outside or whether it lives in a garage. I have some sealant product here which I use on the paint of this car and my other cars. I really like it. I've got loads left, so I thought why not use it here. What that will do is just protect this surface that little bit longer. There are other more formal products, sealant products that people like to use, but it requires masking up the car because they tend to come in an aerosol form. I suppose the other thing to mention is that there's been a lot of, I mentioned it previously, there's a lot of these videos on YouTube. The ones in the UK seem to be based on people using the kits that you can buy in Halfords or from other retailers. And I wanted to show you here that you really don't, if you've got some of these simple tools, maybe you've got a few detailing products in your garage, you may already have a polisher or a cordless drill, you really don't need to go and buy 15, 20, 30, 40 pound kits from those places, because all you really need to do is to buy some sandpaper and have a means of just taking off that final little bit of haze after using the 3000 grit. There are lots of other hacks as well in people using toothpaste and that kind of thing, but those wet and dry sheets were, I think, were just over £1 and 10 pence each. That with the roller blue tape that I ordered The order was something like £7 delivered. So there's really no need to go and spend any more than that if you've already got some of the polishing tool to take out that last bit of haze. And as I say, you don't need to do this, but I do like to do this step. There, you're done. Just let that go off for a moment or two. And then it's just a case of removing that. There's hardly any residue, but there's a tiny bit there. Just removing that residue with the microfiber. This bit here, specific to a Mark 5 Golf, very hard to get under there. If you were being a perfectionist, you'd loosen it here, pull that out, and you could just get this little bit here. But I think for this car, given the condition they're in, this is a fantastic improvement. So let's compare that to how that was before, and let's have a look in. So you can see that's really nice, bright and crisp. There's a tiny little bit I could have just down here, tiny little bit of mist, which I might deal with later, but overall really nice. And let's compare that to the one I did yesterday, which was also still looking really good, and super pleased with that. Let's close the bonnet. And there we go, really nice, bright, crisp headlights after 15 years of them going slowly opaque. So there we go, a really nice job, really enjoyed that. It's a lovely sunny day here, it always helps when you're doing these jobs that the weather's good, and I'm really impressed with those results. So the point of the video really is to demonstrate that you don't need to go and buy those expensive kits. You can just use something really simple, like in my case, wet and dry. And if you recall the size of the pieces that I was using versus the size of that original piece, I could probably do another 4 or 5 cars with what I've bought there for that £7, including that blue tape. So guys, I hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like the kind of content I'm bringing you, do subscribe, it really helps. And I look forward to coming to you in the next one. Thanks and goodbye.